Good afternoon. It is November 24th, 2025. You're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? It is feast week. There is college basketball on during the daytime all day long. Started at 11 o'clock. We're going to have daytime games tomorrow. We got some pretty big games. I mean, right now, we're doing the podcast. It's not even nighttime yet, and we have Iowa State versus St. John's. Tight game. We've already gotten the first unranked team to beat a ranked team earlier today. That was Baylor beating NC State. That was at the Maui tournament. We got tournaments all over the place. There was some going on this weekend. I think it's not as good as it's been in the past, but I'm not going to be bad about it. I'm going to feast. I'm going to be feasting all week. Are you going to be feasting this week?
I might have already feasted. My Michigan State. You were there. You saw him in person.
There.
What did you see? What happened? I don't think it was getting talked about enough, and I want to essentially open it on the podcast. I don't want to hang my entire season on all of this, but I thought it was a pretty big win for Michigan State over Kentucky. I thought it was more than an above average win. It was not what I was expecting to see in person. Certainly a shock for, I'd say, everybody in the group, but it was a huge win, and I don't think it was got any buzz, any attention. Can we talk about it a little bit? We have an offense. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't know how you had an offense because you told me that you didn't have an offense. And that's kind of Michigan State thing is we are just going to throw it up at the hoop and we're just going to be just bigger and we're going to bully you. But no, you had a legitimate offense. I think that Kentucky is a legitimate team. And I think if this was Calipari, it would be more of, they got a bunch of one and dones. It takes them a little bit to get together. But they were favored in this game, neutral site. And you got jumped on them pretty quick. Pretty quick. It was back and forth, and then midway through the first, went on that 18-2 run and just never looked back. There was no real chance after that it even got momentum. I was listening to some college basketball podcasts afterwards and trying to ask, saying hey, who do you think had the most fans there? And it's definitely a little tough to tell with Kansas, Duke, and Kentucky all kind of having that similar blue. The greens definitely sticks out in that group, but I think out and about, definitely I saw more Kentucky fans, but you gave them no chance to get going. So I thought their crowd was quiet because of that.
I'm most pleased with the chemistry of our team, and I would say the weakness of Kentucky is the chemistry. I personally believe I don't think their best lineup is what they're playing right now. I think there's some bench guys that will end up having a bigger impact in the longer run of things. But I like the way we play as a team, play collective. The shots we took, there was a couple lucky ones. I will give you that. I don't think that's. I'm not going to say we're going to do this every single game, but for the most part, I thought some of the shots we took were just good looks that we always take that were suddenly taken by people capable of making a shot. Isn't that crazy? Have we ever recruited somebody that could actually just shoot a three? Unreal.
I mean, it's a bold way to do recruiting and transfers to find guys that can put the ball in the hoop.
We might never make a shot ever again. I'm ready for the wake up call, but for at least right now and for at least this podcast, go Michigan State, go green. That was fun.
Made a big jump in the AP poll today.
It was a good win. Now we've beaten Arkansas and Kentucky. Now, I wouldn't say that's the SEC's top, but that's not the SEC's worst either. That's a pretty respectable group.
I would say so. Yep.
I could just keep talking.
Yeah, 6 spots. You're just outside of the top 10. I think with all the tournaments and the games that you're playing this week, if things go your direction, you should definitely be in the top 10 come this time next week.
I was pretty nervous going into both of those matchups, and I'll remain nervous, and I'm not going to get overconfident in anything right now, but those are two huge wins that could easily be losses that I had kind of calculated on our schedule. And going forward right now, I'm not as fearful anymore because the bad loss didn't happen yet. I mean, I'm sure it's coming. Everyone's going to have one, but at least we dodged two. I could keep talking about this, but we got to talk NFL. We got to do some picks. It was a hell of a week. I think we had some overtime. We had a lot of crazy plays at the end. A lot of questionable coaching decisions. Anything stand out as the shocking head scratcher of the NFL week?
I think out of all of them, I think it's how well the Browns played.
Sure. All right.
Just coming out of nowhere, and they were on the road. I picked the Raiders just because it's both these teams aren't good, and I thought, the Browns might win here, but it was Shador's going to have to play crazy. Something we haven't seen before, or it's just going to be close. But really, they were in control, and I don't think Shador didn't go off. We're just this is the guy. It's just he was just serviceable. I mean, it was just the Raiders, but yeah, if we kind of look it through, I'm not sure if we had. Uh, I'm see. It's been so long ago. Probably the Texans over the Bills would be more surprising, but that was on Thursday, so that just seems like a million years ago.
The Shador thing's exciting. All right, they won. They won. We don't need to go into a huge analysis of it all. I do find it funny though that the only analysis I've pretty much heard on him from everyone else was, well, in college he didn't have a line either, so he's really good on the run, but he doesn't run. I was like, what does that mean? So he's good on being a bad team? Congratulations! Like, what sort of dead end job resume is that? It's like, no, this guy's perfect. He'll be here forever. We'll never go anywhere. This is great. I we got to be able to give a little bit more analysis on that. I think he had a couple of throws. He's at least capable of making some challenging tosses, and we'll see where it goes from here. This team was going nowhere. So the idea that they're somehow worse off with their third string quarterback starting is not the end of the world if you're Cleveland, right? Like there's at least some upside to this. This could possibly work. I know that we all have our takes and that they could be validated and there's reasonings, but there's still a scenario where this works, right?
What do you consider working?
How many seasons could Shador start for Cleveland? We'll say
You
that.
think already you're just done with Dylan Gabriel?
I think so.
Done. Wow.
There's just an upside. I felt a little bit more juice. I felt a little energy. Now there was some energy when they made the switch to him as well, and then that might just say a lot more of what their actual starting point was, which is a whole other scenario. That guy's on another team. It's just it's a wacky thing going on over there. I mean, do you think that even if you put a sophisticated quarterback over there, that this team suddenly just starts winning? Like, are we even sure it's the quarterback that's the problem?
I mean, both quarterbacks aren't helping. It's just more you drafted these guys, and to just say, oh, the guy that we drafted way ahead of Shador. I'm fine with Shador getting more time, especially if Gabriel's not all the way healthy, and saying, all right, well, you won a game. Gabriel won some games. Okay, get some more reps. You're not going to the playoffs this year, so you want to see what you have and who you're going to keep for next year, and do you need to use that high pick? I think if they had a legit quarterback in there, based on all the stuff that Myles Garrett's doing, like maybe. I mean, you need more than just two guys, but Myles just every week, every week, it just going in, he's the main guy on the scouting report, and still he's just racking up the stats.
He's a monster. He's incredible. There's no notes to be added to him. He's not the problem. I think that can be said. That there's nothing else to go there. How would you feel if you're Shador, or really any Cleveland fan at this point, that on the offense, anytime they got near the goal line, it was a direct snap to Judkins? You're not even in the game when we're two inches away from this. Is that a concern? Have we not practiced the handoff enough? I wasn't sure about it. It was also baffling to me that they had suddenly just had more confidence in, like, have they practiced the Judkins direct snap more than Shador has practiced the handoff? Like, I'm just fascinated by it. How would you feel if you were the quarterback?
It was for sure an interesting move. You do it once, fine, direct snap. You're changing things up, but yeah, for a new quarterback coming in, I have to imagine you knew this was the plan, but to do it more than once, just definitely odd to go Wildcat.
It raises so many more questions than it answers. It's just a choice, and maybe I'm just not as familiar with it. Maybe we haven't been in a scenario where the third string guy comes in and it's like, well, he's never practiced with the starters, or he's never. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if you're a third string guy, what else you are doing if you're not doing this stuff. But it was just such a choice, and I don't know if any other teams are doing that. And I think it says a little bit about Shador that I don't really want it to unveil. I'd rather him just be out there, and if he's going to look bad, then we're just not even going to risk this happening. It's like, eventually he's going to do this, right? This isn't just like a career starting where anytime we get to the goal line, it's like, hey, bud, you're coming out, like, right? We're not going to be doing that.
I can't imagine so, but I don't know what the Browns are going to do. There's some just odd quotes coming out of there. I'm glad that at least now the quotes are for a guy that started and won a football game, where for a while it's like he's the third string guy. He wasn't even close. Even if the starter got hurt, he's not coming in the game. And Deion was there, and there's just these quotes afterwards. He's talking about how there's all these doubters, and he's not going to let the doubters get this from him. It's like, well, they're not doubting you, like Shador, the person. It's just you're the quarterback for the Browns. There's a long laundry list of guys since '99. This was the first time a starter for the Browns in their debut won a game since the Browns came back to Cleveland.
I mean, what if he's the guy?
I don't know. I'm probably nitpicking because it's just this is what these elite athletes do. You have to create like this manufactured, the world is against you, but the world's not against you. Like, you're playing for the Browns. You're out of the playoffs. No one's going in going, oh, I hope my team wins today, and I hope Shador has a terrible day. Who's saying that? Nobody's saying that.
Nobody's worried about the Browns and Shador. Even if they're successful, nobody's worried about that team. It's a whole other thing. All right, we got some picks. I made some picks last week. You made some picks last week. It's a ridiculous game. I think we're doing them too far ahead. I think if we did them on game time, maybe I'd feel a little bit better and I'd have an actual chance at all of this. I'm reaching for excuses at this point. And anything to gloat about from, once again, I think having a couple picks on me.
You just just a little bit, Actually, I think you might have more than me this week.
Oh, did I? Oh, look who's actually paying attention. I'm not.
I think so. Yeah, I think I had 90. I think you had 100, or you had 110 this week. So.
Oh, all right. So there was a disaster for you as well for me. All right, it didn't go well. There was some wacky stuff that happened. There was some positioning that shifted late, and there's some teams that I don't entirely understand. I suppose we could start with this week's Thursday: Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. A lot of Thursday games this year. Make sure I label all these Thursday games. Thursday, what is this, at noon? Early game, right?
1:00.
1:00. Green Bay Packers at Detroit Lions. I don't. Maybe it was Winston. Maybe it was Detroit. Was Detroit just destined to make that comeback, or was that just destined for how the Winston game always goes for the Giants? It's a weird thing. I want to give Detroit some credit and all that. I'm a little suspicious of Green Bay, especially as just how bad JJ was and how terrible Minnesota really was in that game. So there's still hope for maybe Green Bay not being as strong as we think, and just Minnesota being terrible. What do you think is more likely there? Is Green Bay actually pretty good, or is Minnesota just really bad?
I think Minnesota, unfortunately, is really bad, and I think it really is JJ McCarthy, where he's young. Hopefully, you get some more reps, definitely earlier in the year before he got hurt. There seemed to be something there. He didn't really play that much at Michigan. They won the national championship, but it was, I'm not going to say in spite of him, but it was almost, we're going to use all of our other guys as much as possible. Now, he did get injured. He was out for a little bit. I'm sure he's not 100%, and you're still trying to, learn all of this. But I just, I don't know if the Packers are for real good. I think I'm probably still getting hustled here by the Lions, because all these things are kind of almost apply the same, where if the Lions are actually good, how are you going to overtime against the Giants? For sure, you got Jameis out there. It's fun. There's all sorts of crazy things happening. But come on, if this was the Lions from like the past couple of years, I just think that they go in and they just take care of the Giants, no problem. But they're down. They're down 10-0 in the first quarter, and are able to come back. But overtime, really? I don't know. But yeah, this week I'm gonna go with the Lions. They're at home. There's a lot. This rivalry's been going on for a long time, and I think Green Bay has got the better of them. So I think they're gonna come in. They're gonna want to win, and I think sloppy. Early game on Thursday, holidays after Sunday games. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions, but I think this is going to be close.
All right, I like the Lions in the game. I'm with you on that. But I think Green Bay is going to be up in the first half. So if you want to bet Green Bay in the first half, I got it plus 125 for Green Bay to be up after half. I don't think they're going to close, though. I think it'll be similar like this, where somehow these teams like Detroit that I guess are just capable of scoring quickly, they come out slow. It doesn't make sense. It's like the team that could easily be up 20-0 would rather be down 20-0 so they could win 40-20 rather than just 40-20 without the other team scoring. It doesn't make sense. I think that'll happen again. I think Detroit will come out slow and the Packers will be fine, and it'll be like a, 13-10 halftime score, and then Detroit will wake up in the second half and be like, how is this even a game? And before you even eat dinner, this game will be a wrap. That's probably my guess here. All right, next game, Kansas City Chiefs at the Dallas Cowboys. Never a doubt, Zach, right? Never a doubt. We always do it. Comebacks are their thing. The Chiefs or the Cowboys? Whose thing?
Are they? Are you talking about the Chiefs, or are you talking about the Cowboys?
I don't know. I think it's the Chiefs thing. There's no history of Dallas comebacks, although that was the better comeback if you'd prefer to talk about that first. I mean, that was a comeback or a collapse. I mean, I guess you can't make these sort of mistakes. If the other team just keeps messing up, it's not on you to just suddenly take advantage of it and make a miracle comeback here. But this was, 21-0? Where they just don't score again?
21-0.
And then 24-21 final score, so that there's just 24 unanswered points as well. It's just insane. A complete flip around.
I'm not gonna call it a collapse, because just the Eagles have been doing that this year. and it's super weird. It seems like they have most of the same guys from last year. Barkley just doesn't look the same. AJ has just gotten more weird. He actually had a good game today, but it's just one half, you're scoring points, everything looks how it should, and then you just all of a sudden can't score. I like no more points. Like, I'm not even mad about the defense. You give up 24 points. You'd like to be a little better than that, but just you would think, especially down, down the second half of you're still winning in the fourth quarter, even though you haven't scored. It was just one of those. Okay, no more messing around, guys. We're going on a long drive, and we are just gonna kill this clock, and this game is over.
I'm with you. I think most teams would have had a hard time holding off what Dallas did yesterday. The Pickens plays, it's just huge explosions of plays. Kansas City still won. They did it. It took a little extra time, but they did it. It doesn't seem like there's an analysis of all this of like, yeah, they didn't play very well. Then suddenly when it mattered, they played better, and then they just won. And it's like, yeah, all right, that's what they always do. And I think that's what they'll do this game. I'll go with the Chiefs, but this is another one where the Chiefs come out slow. I think Dallas in the first half is a safer bet. So I think Dallas first half plus 130 is a decent bet here. Are you going to go straight up Dallas for the game?
No, I'm not gonna go Dallas for the game. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. The Eagles. I don't know what they're doing. It just seems like the Cowboys aren't going to be able to put multiple games together. The Chiefs have been in the past. Yes, all of these games they win, but this year they have not, and so maybe that's just kind of starting to flip here. So I think this is going to be a close game, but maybe they're starting to get their mojo back. Where if it's late in the fourth quarter and you give Mahomes the ball back, you're going to lose, and you're probably not going to get the ball back, and it's over.
Hey, you want to talk about mojo? What if this Dallas defense is legit? I mean, they just stopped Philly. They didn't even get first downs again. They weren't even potentially scoring. They're just botching kickoffs and punt returns all of a sudden. Just turned into
I've seen the Cowboys defense this year, and I much more think that it's the Eagles being weird and forgetting how to play football for a half more than Dallas having turned the whole thing around and can now play defense.
There's also a chance that the Dallas just explodes for points again here. I mean, not that the Chiefs can't score points. They had another game in the last 2 weeks where they're winning in that lower range. It's not Mahomes' fun range where he's just throwing touchdown after touchdown. It's like that playoff range of like 16 to 25 points. Dallas is scoring a lot more than that normally, so we'll see how this goes. All right, next game: Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. That was a spicy showing by Cincinnati. I will give them credit. Burrow is allegedly coming back. I have no idea what that means. In a game where Lamar did play and was back for Baltimore, it didn't feel like a difference maker, or at least that team just feels like a weaker version of Baltimore still, even with Lamar. Who's the weaker team here? Who's going to win?
The Bengals. The Bengals are the weaker team. Even with Burrow coming back, I just can't imagine that he's going to be just all the way ready to go. I would like to think that he would be better than Flacco. Just Flacco's up there in age, and now he's played a bunch of games for multiple teams, and just a nice little break for him would be nice. You got Jamar Chase coming off the suspension. Today he did admit that he did spit, where after the game last week he said that he didn't, so he apologized for that. So we can all move on from there. But yeah, the Ravens offense, it's too simple to just compare it directly to the Eagles, but it just I don't know. It just it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right when they're going up against these teams, and it just I don't know. There's no oomph there.
I'm with you. It doesn't seem like they have the explosion. They seem predictable. They seem bored. There's a weird vibe of the team in general that I'm not going to say they don't have the chemistry, but they just don't. They don't have that energy. Like you said, there's something missing, and I'm worried something might be missing this week. In that Cincinnati gave us a hell of a run. If Cincinnati gave anyone else the run they gave New England last week, is Baltimore in a little bit of trouble here? Maybe.
I just don't think so. Just because they have this, this is an interdivision rival, especially with Burrow coming back. Which why are they bringing him back? Why are they bringing Burrow back?
I thought last week was the real swing week, especially with Baltimore and Pittsburgh not exactly being locks and not really being that far ahead had they won against New England. I mean, they were in it. They could have won that New England game. It wasn't not winnable. For sure. And if you had maybe Burrow in there, and it maybe more rationally, but whether Burrow or Flacco or whoever's the quarterback here, if Chase isn't suspended for spitting and is healthy, he's a healthy scratch with that. That's not an injury. There's a million reasons you could miss a game. to miss one for that when your season is at a turning point and is now essentially over, and now this guy Burrow comes back the next week, you kind of let him down a little bit. Is that not like, is that fair?
I think that's fair. There's rumors later in the week that Burrow practiced on Wednesday. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot because there's half of me that is thinking, hey, this guy is banged up. Your season's over. Just put him on the shelf, go away. Like that's half of it. A little more maybe closer to like the NBA model. But then there's also well, hey, he's paid to do a job. You get hurt kind of doing anything, and a little different from basketball. Football is a lot more dangerous. And well, yeah, even if you can't necessarily make the playoffs, well, at least make a push and get the reps in there. Work with the players, and just go play football. That's your job. Don't just go home.
I think they got a chance to be up in the first half. I'm going with first half bets. I'm scared to go with real picks. I haven't been hitting money lines, but I feel like when I feel like the underdog is going to be within it, I lose on the spread, but I can maybe get it on the first half. It's a little bit more plus money. Cincinnati first half plus 230. Burrow's back. Let's make some noise. Chase is back. Let's at least do it just for the hell of the team because you're all there. The band is officially back together. Whether it matters or not, who cares? The band is together. So I think you got to hope in the first half. That being said, Baltimore just needs this game so much more, and there's so many options of disaster. And I was so impressed with Cincinnati's defense last game. There's a chance that they turn back to similar to what you said with Dallas. They just go back to being an awful defense all over again, and Baltimore has no issues with them at all. I think that's a little bit more likely. I'm going to go with Baltimore. I'm going to keep an eye on this, though, because there's a chance that Baltimore just can't go, like you said. And what if Burrow just comes in and just slinging?
Maybe, but I don't know why we weren't able to figure it out. Yeah, I was frustrated with how the Patriots are playing, where we're getting stuffed multiple series at the goal line. We're like, this is Cincinnati. This is the Cincinnati defense. What's happening here? So I think that had more to do with the Patriots than with Cincinnati. So I think Lamar and Derrick Henry, I think, are going to have a better day against the Bengals than we did, as well as they're on a 5-game win streak. Like they're the lead of the AFC North now.
Yeah, it's you say it as if it's like a double-digit win team. What are they? 6-5? Like they're like one game.
You just gotta get in.
They're one game over 500, and I think they're actually tied with Pittsburgh. Like I don't even think they're ahead. They just have the tiebreaker. It's fine. It's fine. You're right. We should be celebrating it. It's not the normal dominance that I'm used to. But when you would say Baltimore is leading the division, you I think say it out.
Remember
say it with your chest. I wouldn't say it this year though. Like that, it's a weak.
Well, I'm just saying with the divisions in football, you get the top 4 seeds. So like if the season ended right now, the Ravens are at the 4 seed. They're ahead of the Chargers and the Jaguars and the Bills because they're the division leader. So obviously that can all move around, but no, they have the tiebreaker over the Steelers right now. So you get jumped up a little bit higher as a division winner.
Well, they need this game, right? They can't afford to blow this one.
For sure. Yep.
Next one, Chicago Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles. Kind of already talked Philly. Friday game. Prime game. Prime Friday? Is it prime? I think it's only prime on Friday. Could be wrong.
You're right. Yep. This is the second or the third year they're doing this.
I'm not sure. It's in the middle of the afternoon, which is always what catches me. It's not the 1:00 start like we do every other one. It's not a nighttime game, and it's not 4 like the normal. It's 3, right? Like it's fine. Weird Black Friday game.
I agree. Where I feel like in the past, even like last year, I thought that the Thanksgiving games, I thought they started at noon or like 12:30. Where it's a dumb brain thing because I get Thursdays different from Sundays, but it is nice just going into it knowing like, oh yeah, there's a game at 1, there's a game at 4:30, and there's a game at 8:20. So actually, yeah, before we move all the way on, that is going to be my very square bet. Is going to be a parlay of Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, all the favorites. What could possibly go wrong? But you got something throughout the day, and that's plus 234.
And I went with every other team to be up in the first half. Really on the same page.
It's going to be super fun.
We're doing great. We're both going to be winners. That's definitely what's going to happen. We watch ball. We know.
We're both going to be winners, but we're going separate ways because we're going to be in separate locations. So this makes perfect sense.
It's the stories could still be true. All right, your team could still win, and then they could still be down in the first half. It actually happens a lot more. All right, Bears Eagles here. Are the Bears just a winning football team? Are we going to fall for that? Because I don't want to fall for it. I still feel like Philly was up 21-0, and that is closer to what I want them to be, even if it's not what they are. And I don't feel that way about the Bears at all.
It's funny because both of these teams are 8-3, but the feeling going into the Friday after Thanksgiving is two totally different like directions. Where Eagles coming off a loss, they seem to be having a miserable season for an 8-3 team. Where the Bears on the other side are walking in going, we're 8-3. Hey, see Caleb out there? They keep trying to sack him. He keeps getting real creative with these spin moves, and it's just same exact record, two totally different thought processes on it by the fan bases.
It's kind of a big win for Chicago if they get it. I don't think Philly necessarily needs it, but I think after last week, you just don't want to do it again because the distractions just keep coming. You got to get the win here just to avoid the distractions. And I don't know if they're at that point yet, but at some point, enough is enough if you're Philly and you're just like, just win to shut everyone up. I don't want to hear it anymore. I mean, there's still some good things. The team is still good. There's still really good odds. It's an 8-3 season. They're not doing what Buffalo's doing. Buffalo's got their own problems. Kansas City's game was on the line. Like they're not those teams. It's weird that we know so much about this team, despite them, like you said, being an 8-3 team. I'm not falling for
They're
Chicago
eight
though.
and three, but I mean they won the Super Bowl last year, but maybe shouldn't be so much focused on the Super Bowl from last year is the collapse that they had 2 years ago. And maybe that's where those fans are feeling that a little bit more than we are as just people as fans of other teams. And I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't think they're going to lose, but you lose these two. And if you kind of start stumbling down and, now you're a game behind for that one seed. And if you keep losing, like, does this just do could there be a situation getting close to Christmas that we're just talking about like, wow, like Eagles started pretty good, but like the wheels just absolutely fell off.
With the Cowboys heating up, just turning up the pressure a little bit. Yeah, I could see that.
That's three. Was that 3 games? I mean, that's a ways to go, but maybe.
Well, for what you're talking about, it's just as ridiculous, I think, for the Cowboys to go on a win streak than for Philly to go on a losing streak.
That's true. All right.
It's the same ridiculousness. Fair. It's fine. All right, we both got Philly this week. I'm sorry, Chicago. I don't know what you're gonna have to do for me to pick you. It's really, I don't know. Like even if they win this game, I'm still gonna go. Like if it was just Bears Philly every week for the next 3 weeks, is how many times you pick in Chicago? Like you put them at home. Put them at home in all three. Are you still picking Chicago?
I mean, look at their last four wins. We got Bengals, Giants, Vikings, Steelers. The Giants, that probably that would have been Jackson Dart. So you got the young guy, but yeah, he hasn't quite figured it all out. And then the rest of them, like those are all not good quarterbacks. So argument whether Jalen Hurts is one or not, maybe, but Jalen Hurts is far and away better than all four of those quarterbacks going against JJ and against Mason Rudolph this past week.
I think Jalen's at least capable of winning an ugly game, and I think that's a complimentary thing. Look, the playoff games, things are just going to happen, and you're just going to have to be able to play through it. And he's played through it, and I give him that Super Bowl cred for that. But it has not looked very good this year. This looks like a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl. It looks like a team that, I don't know. I don't know what they look like. It's not like forgotten. It's not like even faded. It looks like they just don't want to do it for whatever reason.
I think just a ton of it is like they're 8-3. We keep saying this. It's just all of the stuff around, and it's AJ being weird and saying like negative things about his teammates. And last year was like, oh well, this is really weird. He's reading a book on the sideline. Now he's trying to tell all of us, like, oh no, this is just everybody does this. This is totally normal. It's like, wait a minute, I don't think so. And now it's just he needs more of the attention, so he even has to go to like another level of making it weird.
All right, next game, San Francisco 49ers at the Cleveland Browns. We're Sunday 1, right? 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Sunday, 1 o'clock, San Francisco 49ers at the Cleveland Browns. Talked a little bit about Shador in the opening. Is there any chance of a win streak here? Niners are going to be playing tonight, Monday Night Football versus the Carolina Panthers. No real surprises with the Niners, so. But I mean, that they have some line vulnerabilities. Is there any chance that Myles Garrett can just edge this enough and Shador, a couple plays here and there?
I don't think so. I do think Myles Garrett is going to get his sacks, but I think that the 49ers are just better than the other teams. The Browns have been playing. Christian McCaffrey still looking awesome. We'll see how it goes tonight. But I think having Brock back is being underestimated. Where he's not the flashiest guy, but he like works in that system. And if he was in somewhere else, I don't know. But I think that there's a decent sized jump from Mac Jones to Brock Purdy, and I think that we maybe not have not been respecting that enough.
Yeah, the Niners defense hasn't been anything great either, but I think they're looking forward to playing Carolina tonight and Cleveland the next week. And yeah, I'd watch out. I got the Niners in this one. Sorry, Shador. At least you got last week's win. I think they could maybe beat bad teams, but I don't know if San Francisco is a bad team. They could maybe beat some of these next teams here. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. I mean, which one of these teams sucks more? I mean, one of them is just counting down for the draft, or they're both counting down for the draft.
I don't think so. The Jags are in the playoffs right now.
God damn, I can't believe that's true. I really want to wish this away. It's unbelievable that this team continues to win.
They got the overtime win.
Complete mediocrity win. Couldn't be closer to a tie. It really, I have nothing nice to say about it. It's a 27-24 win over something insulting sort of word about the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know. What do you want to say about Jacksonville? Go ahead. Are they a good football team? And they feel like the Bears to me.
I don't think that they're a good football team, but you're not going to catch me picking the Cardinals against them. And so it worked out for me this week.
Are you going to pick Tennessee against them? Because unfortunately, despite me not really liking this team, not liking this quarterback, and truly thinking this is not a good football team, they are still better than Tennessee. No notes?
For sure. For sure.
Moving on. Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think the Colts should. I mean, it's a bad loss, but it's happened to other people. It happens to everybody. Kansas City does this to people. Like, do you think this is like a huge turnaround? Like they've been exposed or something? Like, Mahomes does that to people. I wouldn't worry about it. I think they're going to be all right. Are you worried about the Colts?
Maybe a teeny bit, only because I think it's not bigger. Just because I've been saying for a while, it's Daniel Jones. A year less. He just got waived by the Giants, and now he's there. So I just don't think I had super high expectations. So if you erased the past couple of months and we came in and went, oh yeah, the Chiefs beat the Colts at Arrowhead. Are you surprised? Like, well, no, not at all. Not even a little bit surprised. So I think that they might be a little bit. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not concerned. They lost in overtime. At the Chiefs, and if it goes right now, they'll be playing a home game, and the Chiefs will have to come to them.
They could play better. They have played better. They didn't play great in that game, and they could have still won it.
I was more impressed with how the Chiefs were able to run the ball. I think that's been a problem, that you're relying too much on Mahomes and just hoping he could just bail you out of every situation. But you really need to get the run set up.
It sounds silly, but you just need to have running backs on your roster, Zach, that are healthy. It's really that easy. It's not like they're not trying to run the ball; it's just they don't have their guys. All right, we're talking too much about the Colts in this one, because the real team we should be talking about is Houston, who will be visiting the Colts. Biggest win of the week. I mean, they jumped out on Buffalo. It was a real win. This wasn't fluky. This wasn't like they made this terrible turnover and it just never capitalized off it. This was a real win, a real showing defensively.
The defense really took it. Josh Allen is maybe not right now, but definitely could still be in the mix in the future for MVP, former MVP. It just has had to go against Mahomes in the Chiefs, but could for sure have had more success. And they sacked him 8 times. I believe last year, for the entire year, he was sacked 14. 8 is so many times. And on top of that, they got 2 interceptions on him. Thursday night can be a little rougher, but wow, they just really just got to Josh Allen in a way that I didn't think that this defense was that good. But I'm gonna have to reassess. And then Stroud, it's just a concussion. I say that lightly, like, oh, it's just a concussion, but like he could be back at any point. I mean, Davis Mills is 3-0, and his little run. Are you bringing
no
Stroud back as soon as possible?
No, I'm not. I'm playing Mills. I'm rolling with Mills. All right, there might have been other injuries to explain why the offense wasn't as good with Stroud, and maybe Stroud just wasn't healthy. Maybe he needs this time. Maybe there was other lingering things that he'll be better when he's back. But at least for right now, I mean, they just beat Buffalo. That was a huge win, and it wasn't a fluky win where I was like, wow, if these 2 boneheaded plays didn't happen, they got lucky. It's like, no, they just outplayed another team that I think is pretty good.
Yeah,
I think they can outplay another team this week.
Not this week. Not this week. I think the Colts get their act together. The Colts are at home, but I think it's gonna be close. And I think a few weeks ago or a month ago, this is a game that it's like it's on red zone, but you're not really keeping an eye on. This is a game I'm gonna be keeping an eye on.
I'm going with Houston. I don't like Houston, but that win last week and the way they did it, I think they can have a similar effect to Indianapolis. The big thing that Indianapolis didn't do super well is it was a bad Jonathan Taylor game, and that would say that's the first one this year that I can kind of tag that and be like, this was just not a good Taylor game. If he's not going to have a great game, or if the Houston defense is going to be like that, there's a chance he's not going to have a good game, even if he wants to. Things get interesting there. They turn back into a Bumpkin Daniel Jones thing, start coming back, and it's like, why? What did we ever think it was? It's like, once you take away a superstar running back away from him, it's a little bit more predictable, maybe. So I got Houston. I think that's a good game, though. This is one I'm definitely gonna have my eyes on. All right, next one: New Orleans Saints at the Miami Dolphins. All right, Cancun on 3. You ready? 1, 2. Man, just who you got? Who you got?
This is one I will not be having my eyes on.
I got Miami.
Same.
Next game: Atlanta Falcons at the New York Jets. Boy, this Atlanta team, they sure could use a quarterback. They could go two approaches here. They could go like the draft, or they could just like pay an experienced one. Or what if they just did both, Zach? And then the next couple of years, they still have to do one of those things again, and it just never works. I don't know what to say about Atlanta. This team has essentially tried all of it, and they just didn't do either route right. Like, who says yes to both plans and then can't execute either one of them? Only Atlanta.
I want to give him more of a hard time, but Penix got hurt, so fine. They did get the win this past week. I think more of it is that they also have the premier skill position guys, and for sure Drake was hurt this week, so that kind of dings him a little bit. But just out of all the teams that are at this more mediocre level, they still are like chock full of fantasy guys. Like the other teams that are bad like this, they don't have these guys.
So does Atlanta need a quarterback?
Maybe.
Oh, that's not a good feeling. I mean, I know the Jets need a quarterback, right? I'm not going to waste any time talking about them. It's whatever. They have issues. They need a quarterback. It's not Fields.
I don't want to give up on Penix right away. They're bad, but they're not going to be all the way at the bottom to get a top pick. Haven't really started to look into what the quarterbacks. I don't think this is a particularly good quarterback year, just because I'm hearing a lot of Jeremiah Love, the running back for Notre Dame, for the Heisman, and if that's the case, it means there's not nearly good enough quarterbacks, because that is the Heisman 90% of the time, in recent history goes to a quarterback. So that's where you let Penix get healthy. I don't know about the Kirk thing. I don't know. They might do something even crazier, but I don't know if you want to just try to go back to the draft to find a guy that'll be better than Penix.
I still can't pick the Jets, even mocking them all. I'm just more mocking a team that was like, do we know what we're doing? And then there was like, yeah, all right, we all just stood back and watched. And they're like, all right, you guys know what you're doing. No questions here. Why? I don't know why. Why would who would question that? Everybody would do that. Yeah, I could do that. That's a great idea. It's just silly stuff here. All right, we both got Atlanta. Next game, Arizona Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We just have problems if you're Arizona. What more could you say? But I really think the concerns are in Tampa Bay here. There's just no offense. What happened? I don't like the Rams that much. You might like them a little bit more than me, but this was a beatdown. This is ugly. I stopped watching football because of this.
Ibuka started off the year awesome. First half averaging about 18 fantasy points per game. The past second half, we're talking more 8 points per game. It's not working the way that it was before. For sure, not having Bucky Irving can't be helping. Not sure exactly when he's coming back. There was rumors that he was practicing last week, and then I don't know, maybe I read the headline wrong or something, but then he was out. And then right at the end of half, Baker gets hurt. He might play, but even if he plays, this seems like the kind of injury where it's because it's Baker, he's going to like power through, but that's not going to be for good football. But luckily for the Bucs is they're at home. It's going to be nice and warm, and they're going against the Cardinals. So I'm going to go with the Bucs because I'm not picking the Cardinals.
Never in doubt. Let's go Tampa Bay. Don't do this. Just don't let it happen. It's fine. Put in the backup. Give us some new juice. Somebody come out there. Baker, make it happen. Baker's going to be out there with a crutch. I'm still picking him. It doesn't matter. I've seen the ceiling of what the Cardinals are capable of. Right, this is the problem with Brissett. Is like you look at it and you watch it, and it's fine, but it doesn't get any better than fine. It's always just fine. And if you're a little bit above fine, you're gonna lose. I got Tampa Bay this week. Next game, Los Angeles Rams at the Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Rams just look like football. I want to hate on this team as much, but this team's just really good, like a really good football team. They can run the ball. Stafford's spiral looks better than anyone else. Like the offense is nice. They completely shut down anything Tampa Bay tried to do. We just kind of came up with some excuses, but I'm still going to give a lot of credit to the Rams defense. How many of the Rams going to win by this week at Carolina?
A lot. A lot, and I don't even think that's because of like the Panthers, because like the Panthers are only about a touchdown underdog tonight against the 49ers, and I think the Rams are better than the 49ers. After that beatdown, the Rams are now pretty head and shoulders as the favorite for the Super Bowl. So their next 3 games: Panthers, Cardinals, Lions, then Seahawks, Falcons, Cardinals. Are they going to be the favorite going into the playoffs?
No, or they wouldn't be my favorite. They might have the resume for the favorite,
Okay,
but they wouldn't be my favorite. I mean, look, Puka's
who
got
would
to
be
be
your favorite right now, or do you want to tell me who you think your the favorite will be at the end of the year, going into the playoffs?
wow. This is the problem is the teams that you want to really boost here had bad weeks. So like this is a bad week for me to give a good take on. Like never down in Kansas City. Like I think it's a tough sell. Never down in Buffalo. They just got embarrassed on Thursday. I feel
that's why this would be the perfect time. This is probably the worst time to get the Rams, unless you thought they were going to be the favorites going in, and this was going to be the best number you could get it at. Where those other teams, maybe not the Chiefs, they popped up a little bit, but any team coming off a loss, especially at this point in the year, is probably the best time to get the best plus money on it if you think they're going to turn it around.
I mean, I'm still trying to calculate what the hell Houston just did, and if Stroud comes back, and in theory should be better and could be better. I don't think he can. I don't think he will because he just hasn't been. But what if he was just injured? What if he is just back and this team is now putting him in better positions and he has good field position? I don't know. There's a couple other teams I feel about. Seattle we haven't talked about. Seattle's really solid. They might not have as much boom as the Rams, but I mean Jackson Smith-Njigba is playing as good as anybody. As good as anybody right now. I don't know. The Rams are a good take though. They play good ball. I can't fight it enough. I didn't think their defense was that good, and their defense looked really good this week. And then now they're going to play the Panthers, so that's not really a test. Keep it moving. Both got the Rams. Next game, Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks. I mean that was bad. This is bad. I tried to defend this JJ guy now enough weeks. I can't. This is at the point where I don't know if you toss it out at this point or we might have to try something else. This might have to be he might have to have another ankle injury. Zach, is that possible? Can we
another soft benching?
Just a little cast on it, maybe. Maybe what did they say with Rodgers fracture? What was it? A very minimal fracture. What was it?
Oh yeah, what was it? Yeah, where he didn't play, so I think it was a little more than that. But yes, you were right. Yeah, I can't remember the exact verbiage on it.
That's all it is. It's a very minor injury, something like that. Aching. It's not good. I don't know what their future is here. They're going to get smacked again this week, and unfortunately, Seattle's really good and has good defense, and they score. And this is a bad week to have to try to have a bounce back. And I think he has no hope of it. And this might be it. I think we'll make a change next week if they get really smacked down. Of which I don't know what the expectations should be. Is there a scenario where Seattle would lose this game? Like, what does JJ have to do for that to happen?
He'd have to be so awesome, and we haven't seen that.
It's going to be hard. Not going to be good. Let's talk about Seattle then. Anything? Jackson Smith-Njigba?
He is unreal. Just every week. Every week you look up and a lot of times they're playing at the the 4:00 game, so there's a little less competition, and you just know big catch is coming. He's getting it done. So yeah, I think Seattle's gonna handle the Vikings. I think the Vikings are in a spot where I think you have to keep going with JJ. You have to try to get through this. But I think the problem is that Justin Jefferson and these other receivers, like they know it's not good. Where earlier on it was all right, we might be able to figure something out, and they're just getting frustrated. I think Jefferson might end up going to the casino with maybe CeeDee Lamb, maybe some of those Cowboys receivers, right after Thanksgiving, and saying, if this guy can't even throw me the ball, like, well, why am I going to give all my 100% effort?
Maybe. I'm not ruling out anything there. Definitely monitoring it. I'm waiting for you to mock my fantasy team, of which I have consistently started 4 Seattle Seahawks players, and I wouldn't say I'm crushing it, but it's not the worst lineup. It has been effective. I'll say that. I'm not losing because of those 4. I might be losing because of other reasons, but any thoughts on playing
I am in no
4
position
players
to be throwing my weight around and to be bragging about how fantasy is going. So I'm just gonna. I don't need to be throwing rocks and glass houses sort of situation for me.
I'm just saying, in general, I think it's a bad practice to play 4 players on the same team. And somehow it's working because Jackson Smith-Njigba and Darnold is throwing to him is enough of a connection to validate playing Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet all together. And it's not always my choice. It's just these bye weeks, the goddamn injuries, just trying to fill a damn roster. Handcuffs coming back up. Next game, Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, is it uh-oh time? Is it panic time? Who's panicking more, Buffalo or Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh's
Uh-oh.
panicking more.
Because they lost to the Bears? Or was it because Baltimore and Lamar is back?
A little bit of both, and they're a game behind the Bills. And it just I don't know if Rodgers not a young guy, so I don't know if this injury gets fixed quickly. So going with the with the backup, and it's not an exciting backup where you're the Bills. It might be just Josh Allen and some guys, but you start with Josh Allen at the front of this. So I just always think Josh Allen can work magic and he can make this happen.
This is going to take some real special Pittsburgh voodoo to pull this one off. I got Buffalo. I don't think they can do it. I think just Josh Allen alone is enough to say no magic. No, we're not allowing it. This Pittsburgh team is limited. This Buffalo team can at least fake some dynamic plays and hopefully put up enough to just not fall into the trap. I mean, even the Bears didn't really lock in this game. Pittsburgh could have won that game. And they'd feel probably very differently going into this week with that sort of record. But I still don't love the team. I love all the teams that continue to lose, Zach. Is that the problem here? Buffalo, Kansas City. Yeah, those are our guys.
I think it's because we've seen it year over year with those quarterbacks I think we didn't have to learn our lesson, but I think a lot of other people learned their lesson with, no, Tom Brady's over the hill. There's no way he's done, where these guys are way younger. These guys are both still in their primes. So it just seems like, why would they not be able to continue their dominance?
All right, next game, Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Sight unseen versus sight I wish I could unsee. Raiders are rough. Gino, man, there's nothing else I could say. I don't know. It's just a bad team, and it's not his fault, but it's not looking good. Chargers coming off a bye here. No real news to report here, but I'm going with them. They just look way more capable than. I mean, they lost to Shador, and it was a bad loss. I got the Chargers. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Chargers as well. I like that intro, and Raiders fire Chip Kelly. I think this might be the start of firing coaches, but there's just my Chargers off a break. You can't lose to the Raiders at home. I know they don't have much of a home field advantage, but I don't normally like picking the Chargers, but against the Raiders, I have to pick the Chargers.
I wouldn't. So all right, we fired Chip Kelly because this team was supposed to be what, and it's not related to Gino's ceiling at all. Like there's just. I wouldn't have got rid of the coach, or if I wanted to get rid of the coach, I would have done it sooner. Like, I don't know why. Why now? What was the difference? Is it that bad this past week? We had to get rid of him.
I don't get it. Maybe if they were more panicky, you do it earlier in the year when it seemed like they weren't figuring it out with Genti, where it's like this is like we're talking possible generational talent, and he can't get the ball going. Where now they seem to have fixed that. So I think it's a bizarre, and like that's why I said I think this might be just the start of the firings over there.
Maybe I'm naive, but perhaps Chip Kelly, this was a blessing in disguise where now he's ahead of the job market right as the season kind of ends here, and he's just out of that. Any hope of that?
I guess that's possible. Another question. So usually it's the owner, that makes the coaching, hiring and firing. Do you think that this means that Tom Brady completed his job as announcer and then on the flight fired Chip Kelly? Because that's when the news came out.
No, Brady's not. You think Brady made the call? Brady's not making the call.
I don't know. I'm asking questions.
Brady doesn't call. Brady doesn't have a phone. You think he knows how to use a phone? People call for him. Brady doesn't use a phone.
Okay.
He's never used a phone. All right, that's why there's no evidence. There's no phones. There's no nothing. Next game.
Nothing to be concerned with. Nothing to see here.
Denver Broncos at the Washington Commanders. I bail out Bo, man. That's what I'm going to go with. It's hard to really pitch me on Washington. I know there's a ceiling that we saw last year, and there's hope that they might reach that one day, and maybe next year. But it's not going to be this year. And as much as I'm down on bailout Bo here, they're just a better team than what Washington's bringing right now. Who you got?
I'm also going to go with the Broncos. Both teams coming off a bye, but I think these teams are headed in much different directions. There's rumors that Jaden is on the mend. Sure seems like you hold off all the way and make sure that he's all the way fine. Maybe even a little more extra cautious than the Joe Burrow situation. Just the way it seems like certain teams have certain problems. It's the Commanders have problems with their quarterbacks getting hurt in bizarre situations and just really awful situations. So I think the Commanders are going to be going stealth tank mode. So I don't even think you're going to need bailout Bo. I think it's just going to be smooth sailing Bo.
I do feel bad for Washington where we talk about all these other quarterbacks that are legitimately borderline. Are they good? Are they not good? And here they actually got one who I think we can all say is pretty good. And he's just not healthy. It's like a different problem to have. It's like, would you rather have that? Would you rather have the J.J. McCarthy Penix thing where it's like, I don't know. Maybe not maybe every week. And versus it's like, yes, we nailed it. We got the pick right. But is he healthy this week? And it's like, I don't know. It's the same maybe thing. It's the same, is he going to be here? Is he not going to be here? Got to be frustrating.
I would rather have the closer to a sure thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
We saw it last year. I don't think he maybe made the linear progression this year that the team was hoping for. But I think knowing that you have something, knowing going forward, even if you tank, it's not, well, we're going to need a quarterback. It's like, hey, we can hit other spots. We can improve the team in other ways. And the way he got hurt, this wasn't a soft tissue injury where he's had this for a while. He got sacked, or I don't remember if it was a sack, or he got hit in a weird way and he landed in a weird way.
I think they'll be all right. I think he's good. I think a nice draft pick is just what this team needs. It's just not your year. Next game, Monday night, New York Giants at the New England Patriots. The shaky start, New England Patriots. The terrible interception by Drake May, New England Patriots. He give me a heart attack and a stroke in the first half just to toy with me and then be like, no, we got it. We're okay. I didn't like this. Winston just put up a bunch of points, forced Detroit to do everything all over. Is he about to do the same thing to us? Because if he does that, we will have our hands full if we play the way we played last week. I'm a little worried. I think this has got trap game written all over it. We're playing bad teams, and I'm hoping we would rise above it. We were playing down to their level. Are we going to play up to our level or down to their level this week?
I am not sure if we are a good enough team, despite our record, to say that we can play up or down to certain levels. I think we're out there sometimes just trying our best. Few injuries. The good news coming out of this game is that it looks like Will Campbell is not going to be done for the year, but looks like he's going to be out for multiple weeks. So he was our high draft pick, our left tackle. So that's a super important position that maybe you don't notice all the time, but is really important. So I don't think this is a trap as so much as like the team's getting hurt. And I mean, that pick six was real bad on Drake. I'm just hoping that he can kind of keep improving, and that we'll get the full, we'll get both sides of the Jameis experience. And so he'll give us a couple back.
It is the full script of Jameis of like, all right, he's going to go up, he's going to have his 3 touchdowns, and then you're just going to wait because you think there's 3 more coming, and they're just not. And then he tries to do it, and then he tries to do it again. He's the gambler trying to chase the win after he just keeps losing. It's like, all right, you were up, and you should walk away, you take your winnings and run. And instead, he's like, no, I want to keep playing. It's like, just inch by inch, take it all back, give it all right back to the casino. You end up being down. That's the Jameis experience. I'm ready for it. That's a roller coaster you got to be ready for, though. We might be down, similar to this game against Cincinnati, where we're uncomfortable with, like, I don't know what's happening. We're just not winning this game right now. We were getting worked by Cincinnati for a good portion of this game. Very uncomfortable. We're gonna be all right though, right? Like Jameis is the villain you like to watch to lose.
the Giants really have no interest in winning in general, but I mean, there is a rivalry here. So I think that if they were to pick a game to really try to get up for it, last week they had multiple trick plays. So I hope we're really ready. And my immediate thought would be, oh, okay, Vrabel, he's gonna be locked in. Team's gonna be locked in. But this team is not always all the way locked in. And they went against Dan Campbell last week, who I thought would have been ready for this kind of stuff. And they got beat on both of the trick plays. So team's got to look out. There's going to be trick plays, and you normally use trick plays because they don't normally work, and it's a Hail Mary effort, and let's just avoid that.
All right, let's go Pats. What do we got for bets this week, Zach? Let's make some money.
Let's make some money. I agree. So not so great last week. The Chiefs-Colts game went under 49.5. It was at 43, so I was off a little bit on that one. Henderson did not score any touchdowns, so that did not hit. Mine for this week was the Thanksgiving parlay, Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, plus 234. And what is your official pick this week?
Let's go Cincinnati first half, plus 230. Burrow's back. Let's jump on him. I don't think they win the game, but
lock it in.
All right, college football. I don't know, it's not feast week. We're going to talk all sorts of college basketball, but what happened this past week and what can we look forward to this week?
Not too much crazy happened. I'm just going to take a little victory lap here. Notre Dame, I've put last week, Notre Dame destroyed Pittsburgh. This week, they, whatever is worse than destroyed, did that to Syracuse. I was going out for the day. I was looking to go to a bar so I could watch the game. And so I wasn't quite right on time. And as I'm walking to the bar, I know I'm not that, behind on the game. I already see a message from my dad saying, yeah, pretty good start, something like that. I look, there's 9 and change to go in the first quarter. Notre Dame is already up 21-0. The offense wasn't on the field. I believe the score was 34-0, and Notre Dame had only ran 5 offensive plays. The stats on this game are absolutely ridiculous. The game starts off, Syracuse has the ball. It is a pick six. It is a blocked punt for a touchdown, and then another pick six. It's just one of the crazier games. If you look at it, the running back, Jeremiah Love, just has like a crazy game. I think Notre Dame only threw the ball 15 times, just something absurd. Notre Dame time of possession was only 16 and change. They got the ball, they scored immediately. I had warned everybody coming into this week. This is kind of the tune-up week, but it's not quite feast week, like you said, for college basketball, but it's still Thanksgiving, and this is going to be rivalry week coming up. So this week, Friday, 7 o'clock, we have Texas A&M at Texas. Saturday, noon, we have the game, Ohio State at Michigan. 3:30, we'll have Vandy at Tennessee. Vandy has not won at Tennessee in a long time. And then the night game, we got the Iron Bowl. We have Alabama at Auburn.
Big games. Season's coming down to an end. I'm excited for Michigan and Ohio State. That's just that to me. That's the definition of college football, is it not? That's one of them.
Oh, it's Saturday after Thanksgiving. It doesn't matter who's good, who's not. Ohio State, awesome last year, going in, cruising. Oh, they're going to destroy Michigan. Nope, that's not what happened. They go on to win national championship. Some say, oh, well, maybe that that loss kind of got them focused. Who knows? But yeah, well, one of those that college has that the pros just don't exactly have is just this rivalry of arguing with people on whether it means more than the actual national championship, and it's not just an automatic, well, oh no, that's ridiculous. Like, obviously national championship's more, where it's, you want to beat this rival. So yeah, that's going to be a must-watch game.
All right, on to college basketball. Has not been disappointing. College basketball, I think, is operating at an all-time high. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of good teams. A lot of teams that were good last year that I think are also good this year. There's some certain teams, though, that I think are a lot better this year, even if they were good last year, I would say they're better. Like, I think Duke is good, but I don't think they're better than last year. Is that fair to say?
Agreed.
Still capable of winning the championship this year. Not saying they're not, but last year was a special year and that they're just not better. Michigan State.
My pushback, just since we didn't get to talk about Duke earlier, my pushback would only be we've been playing, a bunch of cupcakes. The next 3 games we have coming up is Arkansas, Florida, and then you guys, Michigan State. So I think that things could be different in a couple of weeks, where last year Duke was able to figure it out, but there's a lot of, hey, you guys aren't playing anybody real, and lost those 2 early games, very close games, but lost those. So if we're able to take care of business here, in a dominant way, I could change my tune. But for right now, I very much agree. I do not think they're as good as they were last year.
All right, for the point of the segment, we're just going to talk about some of the teams that we think are better than they were last year. I think there's a couple of real obvious standouts. I'm going to go first with saying I think Arizona is significantly better than any of the other teams they've had in a really long time. And I mean, I always say that every year. That's something we definitely talk about every year. But I think this is the one year where it's a little bit more true. I think defensively, I think rebounding wise, this is a little bit more versatile of a team. And I like what they're doing. I like what they've done already this year, where they had a huge win with it was Connecticut. They beat a huge win.
All right. I don't even think these other teams that we're going to mention, I think, have made bigger jumps so far, but I think that Arizona has the best start to a season. They won neutral site against Florida, first game of the year, defending national champions, also expected to be, very good again this year. This wasn't some sort of they won and everyone got drafted and they're not going to be good this year. Still going to be the top of the SEC. They won semi-away game at UCLA. And then, earlier this week, this was one of the games that I had on the games to watch. Won not just against UConn. They won at Stores. Most of the time, UConn plays at Hartford. This was on campus. They play at Stores is a much smaller gym. They're going to be right on top of you there, and it was a close game, but they were able to come away with it. So I think that they have the best start so far.
This is not your every year Arizona that I think you're like, oh yeah, they'll have a couple picks, but maybe it doesn't always gel or mesh, and probably predictable early round out. It's fine. I don't think this is that team. I think this is a bit of a special team. I'm keeping my eye on them. I think they're significantly better than they were last year. What's the team you think is actually better than they were last year?
It's going to be a loss. You probably didn't expect it, but UConn lost at home, but they also have some quality wins, and I think you forget about it a little bit, but it was 2 and 3 years ago where they were good and dominant through the tournament, where last year got knocked out much earlier. They had a bit of a dip, just kind of a reset for the year. But I think that they are much better than they were last year. I think you're going to have to look out for them. They were able to get a win, close win against BYU week and a half ago, and for some reason they played at the Garden. Wasn't a fan of that, and especially them getting the win. Glad that we didn't go to that, but to beat BYU and DeBansa, that's still a big win, and I think the Big East is going to be good. They have a big one coming up. They will be playing at MSG on Friday against Illinois, so they're going to be able to move their way up. But I think they're going to be better than they were last year.
There's one other team I want to talk about. We already talked about Michigan State's better, and I don't really need to elaborate more on that. I say that Michigan State's better, but I truly feel like Illinois is a lot better, and Purdue is still really good. I'm not willing to say Purdue is better than they were last year. I still want to see some more. But I am willing to say Illinois is also better than they were last year, and has a real threat, and has real players that are tough guys that are going to close out games. They got some good shot makers. I'm impressed with Illinois, and I think, are we in agreement? I think Illinois is better than they were last year. I think they're a real threat this year.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because I think they were decent last year, but seeing them in person when Duke just destroyed them out of nowhere, where the whole talk was, oh, well, Duke plays in the ACC. That's the only reason why they're getting these big wins on these teams. This is a real school from a real conference. It clouds my view of it a little bit, but I could definitely see them being better this year. I think they're putting together a nice squad.
All right, who else you got? Who's better?
So a couple other ones that I have is Louisville. Louisville's better.
Yeah.
Definitely way better than a couple of years ago. I think Pat Kelsey's doing a great job, last year being the first year and just kind of making them not awful, where now they are back to being ranked. They're in the top 10 of KenPom, undefeated right now. And it's a huge jump for them. And so from where they were last year. So they're on the way up. Lost today, but we'll wait at NC State. NC State was not very good, and they were ranked. They're not going to be ranked after losing, but I think it's still early on. It's his first year coaching, so I didn't expect him to turn it all the way around. But even just have a team ranked to be able to get those level of guys in, I think is a big jump. And then the last one, Vanderbilt.
I had Vandy too.
Vanderbilt,
yeah. This is great. Yeah,
it's just they've been bad for sure at football, and they've been not very good at basketball for a long time. If you look at last year their final KenPom rating was 48, this year, it's early, but at 14, they haven't really played anybody yet. So still a long ways to go. But to go from out of the tournament to 14th, like you're talking about playing second week, like you should have some expectations. And I really think that it's the NIL and that Vanderbilt's got money, and so now that it's not a matter of, oh, well, why would I want to play here? Like, you guys aren't good. You don't have the right facilities. Where it's, hey, we can pay you American dollars. Would you like to play for American dollars? And guys are going, yes, I would. And now you're seeing the football and the basketball team being a lot more competitive.
I'm with you. I'm not going to underestimate Vanderbilt at this point. They may not be the ceiling or an actual national championship contender, but I'm not going in thinking this is a lock of a win. I am worried about this on the schedule, and I think everyone in the SEC should also be worried. It's a hard place to play. We already know that, but this team's actually a lot better and better than they were last year as well. Very, very good, very good example of the segment here. All right, my only last one here is I wrote Alabama is good, but maybe not as high of a ceiling as they hit last year. I just like that they play defense this year. So it's funny to me that they are ranked lower, and yet I think this is their best defensive team they've put out over the last couple of years. So it's just something to monitor, that if this team does suddenly figure out some of the offense, like they were just so offensive over the last couple of years, I think there's still something there. And I'm starting at a better defensive point than any of the last teams the last couple of years. Anyone else? Is that it for college?
I don't know if I believe you so much on that. It's still early on. Kind of look at the advanced metrics or just like the old dumb metrics, but they've given up 96, 80, and 86 points to the better teams. Now, for sure, those are the better teams, but that doesn't exactly scream out defense to me. Now, maybe, but we'll see. I'm willing to keep an open mind about it.
That St. John's win, they stole the ball away. They didn't, run up a play and have an awesome and one or a 3-point play or a 3-point drawn up something. It was a defensive steal to a fast break that I don't remember them having plays like that a whole lot last year. Do you? Like the end of the game, do you remember being like, oh, Alabama's going to make a defensive play and that's how they're going to win? That's a big defensive improvement.
All right. Maybe, yeah. So maybe it's a little more in the clutch, which is the most important time to be doing that. But yeah, it's something I will keep an eye on.
Lastly, I think we got to bring them up. Gonzaga, is Gonzaga better than they were last year? Because they might actually be. I didn't want to put them on there, and I didn't really have them on the list, but they might be better than they were last year.
I think Gonzaga was pretty good last year, so they're like trending a little bit better. I think they just got knocked out early in the tournament last year, but I think overall they were a better team than maybe people remember.
That's kind of how I feel about Houston, where if I say they're better this year, it's kind of really disrespecting what they were last year, and they might not actually be better. I don't know. They're definitely there, though. I think it's similar to a Duke thing where I'm not.
I would say, yeah, Houston's like right in the mix where they were last year.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else we didn't talk about?
Just a reminder, we got Feast Week, so we don't know exactly all of the matchups that are going to happen. Matchups are happening today. The players tournament, they're actually doing. It's not just a bracket; it's a couple of games, and then they're going to seed it all out. And there's all sorts of stuff that's brand new for this year. That's a big NIL effort. The other big one is the Maui tournament. So that's why there's games going on early in the day and late at night and all over the place. So if you're looking for basketball, you'll definitely find it. The big ones that we do know about that are happening is we have St. John's versus Baylor tomorrow at 4:30. We have Houston versus Tennessee at 6. We have Michigan versus Auburn at 8:30. Then on Thanksgiving, UNC versus Michigan State. That should be a fun one. Mix that right in with football. And then on Friday, it's going to be the ones I mentioned before, Illinois versus UConn at MSG. But there are going to be a bunch of other ones. So just, every morning check. And, you don't want to miss out on anything.
It's going to be a fun week. We finally had ESPN back on YouTube TV. It was a great return. It was a great return to the NBA. It's been some good NBA games. A lot of injuries. Everyone's highlighting all that. I still think there's a lot of talent out there. Maybe not quite the ceiling of some of these college teams right now, but a lot of good NBA ball being played. LeBron returned. He's back. We got news that Chris Paul is retiring.
Did we not already know that?
I'm with you on that. It doesn't really seem surprising. It seemed like one of those announcements where someone says they're retired, and it was like, haven't you been out of the league for 2 years? They're like, oh, I'm just not trying to get back in anymore. That's what retiring is. This is not far off of that. Where he's on a bad team at this point, the Clippers, and I think he went there as like a returning home to retire, in hope that they would be competitive. Does he want to stay there now that they're not competitive? Like, is this retirement tour going to get detoured when he's like, no, trade me to the Warriors?
I don't think so. I do think the timing is interesting. Where he played every single game last year for the Spurs, so I wasn't sure if he could. He's not going to be the integral piece, but I thought that he could help out a team, especially he's a year older. And if he's not playing every single game, but you put him in spots and just having that guy in the locker room and just having an adult that's running the second unit, I thought could be helpful. But yeah, I'm wondering if he's looking around and saying, "Hey, I didn't think that we were going to be 5-12 at Thanksgiving. I kind of thought we were going to be more, in the mix. So yeah, if we're not going to make the playoffs, yeah, I'm gonna not make this announcement now. But yeah, the timing was bizarre.
It's fine. Hell of a career. Nothing to
For
say.
sure. Hall of Fame career. Easy.
Nothing to say that hasn't already been said. Other LA news: the Bus brothers were fired from the LA organization, the LA Lakers organization. Again, this is one where we knew there was a new owner. We knew changes were coming. There's always this weird theory that the old regime and the new regime are going to coexist, and then eventually there'll be a chopping block at some point, and then it just comes, and it's like, yeah, well, it was a matter of time. This might have always been what was going to happen, and there's probably no reason to really be shocked by it. It just seems weird to see bus people being fired from a Laker organization at this day and age. Or maybe not. Maybe this is what everyone always wanted to do. They certainly hold a reputation that's not going to be endorsed by a Celtics fan over here. What are your thoughts on the Bus brothers being fired?
So when I first saw the headline about this, I said, when did the Lakers rehire the Bus brothers? I didn't realize that there were five of them, or that there's was it six of them? I didn't realize there were so many. I thought it was the two brothers that Jeannie fired like years ago. And I was like, oh well, maybe they kind of reconciled and they gave them smaller roles because I saw these were scouts. So you're not the the main movers and shakers. It's not the I was gonna say it's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, let me ask you the question. So these are all the family. They sold the team. So it's not like you just get like one big check, but I'm sure it's a pretty big check and like that money is coming in and you don't have to worry about that. Is that worth it to not be like a person that's in charge of the Lakers?
No, because in all honesty, there's no way these bus people have had financial problems at all in their lifetime. Money is easy. They've had money. They've also had the team, but they haven't always had access to this team, at least within the family. Jeannie's been
Because that's kind of what I'm thinking is, that was one of the podcasts. I think it was Jacoby and Chris Vernon were talking about. It's like, each one of them got $1 billion on the way out. So, that's not so bad. But well, what do you do with $1 billion? If you buy cool, expensive toys that no one else can have, it's like, well, you were just at the Lakers. Like you were a scout, and the scouting department actually did a pretty good job. But I could be non-biased about this and bring it all back around to what you said of they have new ownership, and we're seeing this across all the leagues. When these teams sell, maybe at the beginning it's, oh yeah, we're gonna be buddy, and the old regime, yeah, they can stick around because they're good, but not too long after, it's, hey, I put up the cash. I put up the capital. This is my team now. I'm making the decisions. You guys are done. You're out.
look. I've heard by multiple sources that they're not walk-on scouts. That they're actually good. They're not just. This isn't a nepotism. They only got it because of all this. There's qualifications that say they're actually good at the scouting thing. And if that's true, go do it for another team. If that's how you want to do it, go do that for another organization. They'll hire you. It'll be a little weird. But it's not like they're not going to know who you are. You know what I mean? So your resume and your money can still get you somewhere else. It's just an end of an era and a very bizarre one where the Lakers and the Celtics are now under different ownerships, and we'll see where the future goes. We're still the Celtics. We're still the Lakers. We're at least not the Hornets. Did you hear some of the Hornets news this week?
I saw that LaMelo he didn't demand a trade, but he was open to being traded. And then I also saw that he commented on that with the clown emoji, which makes me think either he didn't say that or he did not really want that to be said publicly. But it is interesting that this is kind of how things work. This isn't even a surprise. This isn't even really like news, that it's just like, oh, well, I'm open. I'm open to being traded. It's okay. I don't know why the Hornets would do that or who really wants LaMelo at this point, but he's open to it. I'm open to having barbecue for dinner tonight, I guess.
I think the team should be open to it as well. This is mutual. You think you're the only one who might want to get out of here? We might want you out of here too. The only problem is we're tiptoeing around this because nobody has a really good plan. They don't have a really good destination. I don't think we've done a remotely good job at determining the value of LaMelo and what the trade really should be. I mean, is there a wider spectrum of guys on the opinion of LaMelo where it complete trash to, you know what, actually shares the ball, really large skill set to huge distraction, family stuff? Like there's a lot. We know a lot about this. I think if we get out of Charlotte and maybe put him on the right organization, I think there's hope. But if you're one of the really good teams and you got to give up something to get him, I don't know if he's worth the risk. So does he just end up on another bad team, or is one of those good teams going to actually pony up and make the deal for him? I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, I think he's just destined to be on a lot of bad teams. If you could kind of handpick him somewhere, is there a dream place where you're like, yeah, if he just ended up here, that'll work?
Nothing like jumps out immediately, but I think I don't really blame LaMelo so much. I mean, he was brought up where it's like you are the guy. You shoot from wherever you want, and the style is just it's very, very unique. But then he's also on Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte hasn't been good in a long time.
If you're the guy,
do you know the last time they made the playoffs?
You're not gonna convince me that Charlotte is a good organization. One of the worst runs. Right? They make more mistakes than good decisions. I'm not shocked by that at all. I'm just more of, if you were really one of the guys, you'd be a little bit closer than this. And there's injuries and all of that, and maybe if he's just healthy, there are a little bit closer. But I just said if you're one of the guys, if you put Luka on this team, I'm not saying they make the finals, but they make the playoffs. At least once.
Luka's in a different category. I also don't think that the Hornets would be equipped to put the right team around Luka. This isn't something, I'm not nitpicking here, where it's like, haven't been good like the past few years, only when LaMelo's been there. They haven't made they haven't had a 500 level season since 21-22. Haven't made the playoffs since 2015, 2016. So we're looking at 10 years. They haven't made it past the first round since 01-02. Like a long time ago. We're talking 25 years of just get me in the lottery. Get me in the lottery. Get me in the lottery. And not working.
They've been in the lottery. They've had the picks. We could even argue that they didn't even mess up the picks. Some of these picks are good. Even LaMelo might be good. Brandon Miller might be good. There's what do they get? Kalkbrenner? That was a good pick. There is still hope of all this. There's just nothing. It just amounts to nothing. They're going to be drafted again this year to do what? It just, at some point this thing's got to go, and I just don't think he's a building block. I'm not saying he can't be part of a winning team, and if you put him on like Golden State right now, I think that'd be just incredible. Like they would move, and the ball would be great, and they'd share it, and he would provide some size despite not being the best defensive person. I just think that would work. There's just no way, though, anyone's going to give up what they need to give up to get him and then pay him what they have to pay him. It's just not worth that. For that money and for that value, he has to stay on a bad team, and he'll be here, and he'll be, I don't know, what's the other bad organization being run? Is he going to be in Utah at some point? Danny will never do that. I don't know. What, Memphis for Ja?
What do you think about this? You get rid of LaMelo. He didn't go to college. No European guys. You're in North Carolina. You just go hard on North Carolina guys. They already got 2 of the Duke starters from last year. They got Mason on the team. So start getting Wake Forest guys, start getting UNC guys, and just go that way. Just say, we're going to get these premier guys. Maybe you're able to get like some 5 stars that, didn't quite pan out. You're not going to be able to just like go and grab, the absolute like top guys, but you just do that. Just try to make your fans happy. They want to watch basketball. They want to watch good basketball, and you haven't done that.
You don't even want to know the sad part. The sad part is they probably have been trying to attempt a strategy that's just as rational as that, and that would make more sense than what they've been doing. Silly stuff. They're not going anywhere. What can you do? All right. Anything else in the NBA out there? Anything else catch your attention? I don't want to talk Boston. It hurts. It's so ugly.
I'm still mad about it. How do you lose to a team that's tanking? On NBA Cup night. At home.
How does the team that's tanking look like they're playing harder than the team that's supposed to be known for effort? They're supposed to have this psycho coach at the sideline that's changing the lineup every other night because he thinks other guys are playing harder than the guys that played the night before. It doesn't make sense. And to whiff on it wasn't a good look. I thought it was one of Joe's weakest games. But it was the guys, though. It wasn't just him.
The only thing I can think of is that he hates the cup so much that he tanked it himself.
I mean, we're really stretching, but that makes more sense than what I saw. I mean, Brooklyn really showed up. What does Brooklyn have with us? Do we have beef with Brooklyn?
We just beat them at their place earlier in the week.
They took that personally?
Really I was so excited. It's like, all right, cool. This is going to be a nice, fun Friday night. I'm going to pretend like I'm into the cup. We got the court, and then we lose to the Nets. Ugh. Now you got me going again.
These are the Brooklyn Michael Jordans here. Yeah, I took that personally. Showed up in Boston, gave it to us. Impressive outing for them. I'll give them it. But I'm more concerned with just effort level on Boston. I didn't think I'd be doing that this year. I thought it'd be skill level. It'd be like, oh, we can't rebound. It's like, well, who did you think was going to rebound? Now it looks like Kato's injured. Who is going to rebound? It's hard to say, well, why are we a bad rebounding team? It's like, well, who did you think was going to be rebounding? There's nobody out there. We'll be back. It's Patriot season, right?
Patriot season.
We'll be back.
Drake May.
Drake May. We'll be back. Remember to subscribe. Love column A, love column B. Make sure you follow on Spotify, Instagram, and wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Make sure you follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
We'll be back next week. Happy holidays.
Little column A, little column B.